One of the UK's hottest Asian exports, PBN, was in Canada to promote his 6th album release, Me, Myself and Music. I caught up with the award-winning producer right before his sold-out concert to find out what we can expect to hear from his album.
Over the years, I've developed a name for making dance floor anthems, and that is my forte. And this album stays true to what PBN is about. It's a full-on 8-track album, which is full of dance floor numbers, be it weddings, be it parties, be it clubs. And yeah, it's new collaborations, working with the elite A-list of the bhangra industry, but staying true to my roots and my sound. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's an album made for the dance floors, if I had to just summarize it.
So you released your first album in 2003. This is your 6th release. How do you keep your material fresh and original for your fans?
You know what? I don't think about it too much. That's the first thing. Whatever sounds good, whatever ideas I've got, I go with. I think my stuff always sounds fresh and original. Is if you listen to my album, there'll be a few songs where I'm singing myself, and I'll say I'm more that Asian pop bhangra kind of sound. Then I always collaborate. Every album I bring different people in. Last year we had crowd pleaser Kaun Nahi Janda with the Door Foundation. Them guys, a group of 10 door players coming into the studio recording, gave us a fresh sound. This new album working with the likes of Malkeet Singh, bringing his 30 years experience, collaborating with me and me bringing my sound, it's fresh again. And that's what I keep trying to do, working with different artists who bring different flavours, and so the fans don't get bored.
So let's go back to when you were a child. Did you grow up always dreaming about becoming a singer and a producer?
No, not at all. I've always been one of them annoying kids who always kind of ran to the dance floor and danced from the beginning of a party to the end of a party. I love music. When I was growing up, I was listening to everything from English music and, obviously my bhangra music. And bhangra music, I was fans of the likes of Malkeet Singh and all the rest of it. And the only time I think music happened for me when I was young is when I was in school. I was typical like everybody else in England and most Asian guys playing football or whatever else. And there was this one influential person in Wolverhampton who was like a community kind of worker there. And they just opened a recording studio and they says to me, you're always playing football and stuff, why don't you try coming to the studio? Every day after school I used to just sit there and watch other people produce music and stuff, and that's when I started getting, I want to learn a little bit more about this. And from there, it's just been a steady progression.
So I've interviewed other musicians and they always talk to me about how success is never overnight, that there's years and years of hard work behind the scenes. Tell us a little bit about your experience when you first started out. What were the obstacles and challenges you faced?
There's been so many. Okay, 6-7 years. In 6-7 years, when I first came on the scene, I was the same as most artists, like when they're starting out. That little text that you see on a flyer and you see all these big names and headlining acts, and then right there was me. And if I was lucky enough, I might get 15 minutes on stage or 15-minute set. And if I was lucky enough, even more, I might get a little bit of money for it. So it was hard, and nobody really, it's hard for people to open doors to you. I think with this industry, you have to prove yourself. It's not a case of, I've got a song, I've got a video, I've got daddy's money, I'm a star. Because I think the public see through that now, and as consumers, they're not stupid and they're not sitting on what they're spending their money on and who they're supporting.
A lot of Asian artists are doing a lot of crossover films, music. Is there anything we can tell your fans watching? Is there potential that you're going to be maybe releasing some tracks for a crossover film, or?
What I will be doing, I don't know about films. Like I said, 6-7 years it's been PBN and bhangra music. After this album, which I've got so many more videos to do, maybe next summer I'm going to do something away from bhangra and Hindi. I'm also working closely with Universal Music in England, and I've just done a few official remixes for Lady Gaga and Akon.
Okay, so we've talked about your past. Let's talk about your future. Years down the road, when you retire, you're with your great-grandkids, you're telling them stories about how you used to perform all over the world. What do you want to be most remembered for by your fans?
Creating memorable music, I suppose. I want to remember from my music, not me as a person or nothing like that. If people just remember my music and my music lives on after me, that is the biggest accomplishment I think anyone could, want to achieve. Yeah, so definitely.
So of course we're celebrating the release of your latest album, Me, Myself and Music. I think for our viewers, to give them a little taste of what to expect, could you actually sing maybe a couple lines from one of your favorite tracks?
सारा जग आशिक तेरा ले गई दिल लुट के मेरा बल्ले बस तेरी तेरी बल्ले बस तेरी तेरी बल्ले बस तेरी तेरी गल एक सुन जा तू घेरा दे दे हाय नी अज दे दे एक बारी दे दे तू